Hello everyone and welcome to this week's video tutorial. This will be another commentary in English of a game that was played by Grandmaster Ronghua using the sandwich house defense. The commentaries were provided from the book Deception and Countermeasures in the Xiangqi opening. It was the 10th board in Appendix 1. And I'm very grateful for Master Wenqing and Grandmaster Zhang to have allowed me to produce all these videos and translate them into English. So without further ado, let us begin the board. Red was Master Chen Xiaokun. Okay, he started with a central cannon. And black chose to play p7 plus 1 in this situation. Now, this is usually done sometimes so that black can ensure that he would be able to play a particular variation that he has prepared for. Now, usually c8 equals to 6 is played. Red will counter likewise. And black would play c8 equals to say 6. Now there has been criticism of this move because it was suggested that red could have fared better with r1 equals to 2 for a more tightly knit attack. Playing p7 plus 1 was simply too slow. Red would go for the rank chariot. Now at this point in time, red deviated from the norm. Usually r1 equals to 4 is played to prevent and deny the black horse from developing to the riverbank. Now in this match, red actually played c8 equals c8 plus 7 to entice black to advance his cannon to form a skewer. Now this is a very interesting play play by red, which is seldom seen. Now in the match, how did black respond to this position? He played a4 plus 5. Again, choosing to consolidate his defense and to see what red had in mind or was prepared. What would happen if red went for the skewer instead? 7. Red will protect the horse, black would defend. Red again will protect his pieces in this manner, preparing to trade material by advancing the horse. And as can be seen, now it will be a trade of material, and red would be prepared to storm this flank. So a4 plus 5 was played by the Grandmaster, refusing to go for the skewer. And red continued with his interesting ways with r1 equals to 6. Now he still gave black the opportunity to apply a skewer. This move would, however, appear to be strained. Instead, red should have gone for r1 equals to 4 or c8 equals to 9 to defend, such that if the skewer were applied, red would simply move the horse away. Now, an interesting situation now would be, what would happen if red played r7 equals to 6 to advance the horse to the riverbank? An obvious target would be the central pawn. Black would simply defend in this manner, and black would attack the horse on the riverbank, which red would attack the central pawn, and black can be satisfied with this outcome because the cannons are linked, and once this chariot was out, it will be able to threaten both cannons, and by threatening to capture this cannon, red will be forced to move an advisor, and thus the development of this chariot will be problematic, will be a huge headache for red. So that is why r1 equals to 6 might have been better than h7 plus 6. Sorry. And after red had spent one move to move his chariot, now was the time to apply the skewer. So red would be forced to make this move. Now, would capturing the central pawn be an option? Let us see. And after Trading material, the black horses would now be prepared to attack, and red would have a hard time trying to defend. So that is why r6 equals to 7 was played in response to this skewer. Black would develop his chariot, and red would try to dislodge the pesky cannon with this move. And black responded very nicely by advancing his cannon to attack the red chariot. Now, red tried to gain material with this move. However, post-mortem analysis would suggest that it was not a good move. Instead, a5 minus 6 should have been played. And this move would actually weaken red's formation greatly and plant the seeds for his eventual demise. So black moved his cannon to safety. Red went for the riverbank cannon, consolidating defense, and red advanced his horse, preparing to attack. Now, one major issue for black now would be the development of this chariot, and with this move, black would address this issue as he was prepared to develop his chariot with r1 plus 3 to guard his pawn rank. And he will also prepare himself for a full-blown counter-attack. Now, red played c5 equals to 9 in preparation. 1 plus 3, threatening to capture the pawn. And black took the opportunity to deal with the issue of this cannon, placing it on the edge file so that it would attack. A potential target of attack would be the chariot. The red chariot would be developed, and black would place a pin. And after trading material, black retreated his cannon to patrol the riverbank. Now, in the moves that were given above, black used the edge pawn as bait. Black used this edge pawn as bait to gain a satisfactory position. Now, the main idea for all his efforts was that red would want to isolate his right horse. So by threatening to capture the pawn, the chariot can advance and attack this horse, which is very, very vulnerable. The awkward positioning and the poor positioning of the advisor will now be fully realized. Black's situation is getting better by the move. Now, red decided that it was not a good idea to defend very passively. Instead, he chose to advance his pawn as he decided to go down, if need be, go down fighting. p3 plus 1, and h6 plus 8 is to threaten to capture the chariot in this manner. Black would of course refuse to trade his chariot. For the trade of horses, a check. Red continues to attack the advisor, preparing for a checkmate with r6 plus 8 and followed by r8 plus 8. Black would have to defend in this manner. The pawn advances, and black would now develop his left chariot for attack, targeting a very obvious weakness, red's advisor on the board. Red will protect his advisor in this manner, and once this was done, black would immediately charge his pawn across the river to apply pressure. If the elephant captured it, red would have used his pawn to trade for the elephant, which would still be a bargain. So red decided to play r9 equals to 8 to protect his chariot in case black tried anything dangerous later on. By protecting the chariot, he could use this chariot to trade for black's chariot. p3 plus 1, and red would try to draw first part with p8 plus 1. And black would advance his chariot to the riverbank. and red will continue to push his pawn forward. Now, what would happen if a4 plus 5 were played to protect the advisor? Now, this would red would be able to last longer, but there was no practical meaning at this point in time. Black's forces, especially the pawn, was now already breathing down the red king's neck. Red advances the pawn again, and black would now capture the advisor. There is a saying in Xiangqi whereby if you elect an advisor, the enemy chariots will be a huge problem, and this is a textbook example of such a situation. Red tried to be aggressive. With r8 equals to 5, he was threatening to checkmate with r6 plus 8, which is why black would play p3 plus equals to 4 to prevent that from happening. And red protects the horse. Black continues his merciless attack. As can be seen, black was very busy. Red was very busy trying to defend from black's attack from everywhere. Black consolidated his defense by retreating the chariot, retreating his horse to threaten the red chariot. And this will be the last nail in the coffin for red. With this move, black will now be delivering a check. And any other resistance would also be invalid. For example, if h3 minus 5 were played, black will win in the following manner. He will actually capture the horse, have no fear, because if the king captured it, black would play r3 plus 4 and gain back lost material. So that is why red played rh2 equals to 5. But now, since the position of the chariot was very poor, black would attack in this manner, threatening to capture the advisor for the win. Black will try to salvage his situation in this manner, but basically it was already too late. A check, and through a series of maneuvers, black will now be threatening to capture the chariot, and this would force red to sacrifice his chariot for red's cannon. A check, and black is guaranteed to win. So that is why k5 equals to 6 h3 minus 5 is not a good idea, because it will lead to a checkmate. k5 equals to 6 was played in a game, and after things were ripe, black decided to trade material by capturing the horse. Red will capture the cannon, and the black chariot will now make its presence be known on the third rank. Okay, the elephant's eye, and now black was prepared to play h7 equals to 3, etc. as one of his many options for attack. Red tried to defend in this manner, but black could have none of it. Instead, he chose to sacrifice his pawn. Check. Check. And red resigned. Once the two chariots were now on this line and there were no red advisors around, black could checkmate very easily. So a short recap. Central cannon versus black's savage horse defense, but in this variation he will advance the pawn very early on. Red to do likewise, but this will be a slow move. C equals to 6 for the savage horse defense. And red, black will play a4 plus 5 to consolidate his position. Red wastes one move in moving the chariot across the river, and it was at this time that black made a very powerful move by applying a skewer. He will not have to worry about capturing the pawn. Another great move. Red would now, sorry, the other black chariot would now be prepared to go into battle. And after trading material, red's central file would now become very weak and vulnerable. Black would retreat his cannon. And after trading material, black would have the advantage. Capturing the advisor, and then placing the cannon on the bottom rank, threatening the checkmate with f6+2. Again, red tries to link his he tries to protect his chariot so that he could trade for black's chariot if need be. And this would be the last nail in the coffin. Red would try to play k5 equals to 6 to salvage the situation. However, one might wonder if h3 minus 5 were viable, the answer would be a resounding no. Try to make a checkmate. And black wins after sacrificing so much material. And r5 equals to 7. And black's two chariots and one very menacing pawn are now in full gear for attack. Black will refuse to trade material and instead sacrifice his pawn for the kill. Check, check. And finally, the two chariots will be linked up and red would use the ranked chariot to end the game. So I hope you've enjoyed the video I've been doing this week. If you liked what I've been doing, please subscribe and give me a thumbs up. Thank you.